I have been obsessed with creating Wordle in Minecraft ever since seeing Pearl do it on Hermitcraft. Um, I've created quite a complex and crazy contraption here. The redstone isn't super neat, but I think it's quite nice regardless. So let's look at what we have here. The way you enter the word is basically putting the letters here. The word that I've entered, or words, is not quite right, but basically each die will represent a letter, basically. The word that's in the item filters right now is basically red, orange, yellow, lime, and green. And if I put in a word that's some letters correct, some letters wrong position, and some letters completely wrong, let's see. And let's go there, and white, which is not in. So this is correct, wrong, wrong position, correct, wrong position. So I'm going to enter my guess here. And what you see is this disappears. It pops up there, disappears, pops up there in a second. No, wait, that's the wrong letter, so it won't pop up. But this one will pop up. This one will pop up. And this one will also pop up. And what you see as well is that I'm getting the letters back in the same order that I put them in. So if I wanted to fix the word now, I could say, okay, give me those two. Um, well, this was correct. This was a completely wrong one. So I'm going to guess it's orange now. I'm just going to put in all of the right letters. I'm going to grab those. I'm going to say reset. You hear some trapdoors popping off, and then I enter this guess. Now it will all be correct, obviously, because this is the correct word. Let's wait for this to finish, and then let's look at the redstone. The most interesting piece of redstone is actually probably over here. So how does this actually work? How do I get the items popping off the item frames? Oops, well, that item's gone. I have dispensers here with snowballs. They shoot at the back of an iron door, and even though they're firing at the back side of the iron door, the item frame still gets hit, which means that the item pops off. We have some hoppers here. Now the thing is that right now the hoppers will pick up items, but if I reset it so that we're basically in a neutral game position, right now if I hit it, it won't actually pick up any items. So if I'm trying to think of a word and I want to pop off a letter that I think might be wrong, I can still do that without them getting picked up. Um, Obviously, this works with item filters. All of the items first get moved to the left, then they get moved to the right across the item filters. Um, these item filters will basically uh, activate these rails. Um, but how do I know whether the letter is correct or incorrect, or which letter I'm currently checking? Because it's checking first letter first, then second letter, and so forth. How does that work? Well, basically, um, what we have here is a red coder. We pop a signal in here. We count the number of sticks that end up in here. Um, that signal strength goes into the red coder, and that will send a signal to the wall, which gets picked up below. Um, so it gets picked up here, and it gets sent over here, and that gets read here. So we have two places where we observe for this. One of them is here. Um, this basically pushes the node block down off the letter that we're currently checking. So if we're checking the first letter, this one gets pulled down. If we're checking the second one, this one gets pulled down. What does that mean? That means that if this redstone is activated, then only, let's say if this one is down, right now only this trapdoor would be changing, which means that only this one would be pulled or pushed down. Um, and the same goes here as well. Basically the same thing here. We observe the water changing. It pushes this block forwards if we're working on the first letter. And what happens if this one gets pushed forwards? If we're checking the first letter, and the first letter is also the position that the letter I entered in goes to. So let's say the word is speak, and I put in an S, and we're checking if the first letter is correct. Well, the first letter is an S, therefore the signal will come across these rails, but also this block would be pushed forwards because we're checking the first letter, which means that this observer goes in here, goes up there, boom. If instead if instead of speak, I did, or let's say I did guess speak, but my first letter was an E or whatever, then this one would be getting triggered, which means that uh, this observer fires over there, and the signal gets sent up here. But since this one would be down, it gets this letter. I think I've done a very terrible job explaining this. I hope you were able to follow. I think this is a really neat redstone build, and I hope you enjoyed the video.